Welcome to InvestEd. Welcome sa InvestEd. So yung company na i-analyze natin at re-reviewin natin ngayon ay ang company na AP or Aboitiz Power. So, sa pag-a-analyze ng stocks, malalaman natin kung ano yung strength and weaknesses ng company. And malalaman natin dito kung maganda ba yung kanyang pundasyon, maganda ba yung kanyang financial, maganda ba yung kanyang moat over the years, and maganda ba yung kanyang management. Okay, kasi napaka-importante bago tayo pumasok sa stocks na gusto nating lagyan ng pera natin pinaghirapan, alam natin, no, at meron tayong matibay na pundasyon kung bakit tayo papasok. Okay? And naiintindihan natin yung business model ng company. Kasi kung hindi natin naiintindihan yung business model ng company, huwag na tayong pumasok. Kasi, yun nga, sabi nga ni Warren Buffett, no, stay to your circle of competence, no? Okay, so ito yung purpose ng ating video. Okay? And syempre, alam din dapat natin kung ano yung fair value na ngayon or yung intrinsic value ng company. Okay, so lahat-lahat ng yan ipagsasama-sama natin sa isang video para makabuo tayo ng matibay na konklusyon at matibay na pundasyon sa stocks na pinapasok natin. Okay guys, so kung ready na kayo, samahan nyo ako. Let's start and see you on the other side.
Kung nakaka-subscribe, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell para updated kayo sa mga videos na parating at marami pa kayong matutunan sa channel na ito. So, maraming salamat. This is PSE Warrior saying, trade well, trade strong, and trade smart.
Okay, this is the short description of AP or Aboitiz Power Corporation. Okay, Aboitiz Power Corporation was incorporated on February 13, 1998 as a holding company for the Aboitiz Group investment in power generation and distribution as well as retail electricity related services. Okay? And ownership in the company was open to the public through initial public offering of its common share in July 2007. Okay, since it's incorporated, AP accumulated interest in both renewable and non-renewable generation plant. The company holds all its investment in renewable energy through its Aboitiz Renewable Incorporated or ARI, on non-renewable energy through Therma Power Incorporated or TPI. Both ARI and TPI are wholly owned subsidiaries of AP. Okay? The company has ownership interest in 9 distribution utilities which collectively supply electricity to franchise area, covering a total of 18 cities and municipalities in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Okay? Okay, for more information about sa kanila, so panoorin muna natin tong short clip about sa kanila. Okay?
Through its subsidiaries, engages in the power generation, distribution, and retail business in the Philippines. The company operates hydropower, geothermal, solar, coal, and oil power plants. It sells its electricity through bilateral contracts with private distribution utilities, electric cooperatives, and industrial and commercial companies. Distributes electricity to the industrial, residential, commercial, and other customers, and has interests in 9 distribution utilities that supply electricity to franchise areas covering 18 cities and municipalities in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. In addition, it is involved in the retail of electricity to various industries, including property development, meat processing, semiconductors, steel, and cement. The company was founded in 1998 and is headquartered in Taguig City, the Philippines. Aboitiz Power Corporation is a subsidiary of Aboitiz Equity Ventures, Incorporated.
Okay, alam na natin kung anong mayroon sa kanila, no? So nalaman na natin. So ngayon, dadako na tayo sa financial ni AP for the past 5 years, no? Okay? Nandito tayo sa Reuters, no? And nandito tayo sa financial and income statement, okay? So nakikita natin dito it is annually, okay? Annually, no? Yung data na to. Nakikita natin dito from 2015 and 2019, nakikita natin yung revenue nila ay talagang increasing, no? From 2015 na mayroong 85 billion Okay, 85 billion revenue sila, and now meron silang revenue in 2019 na 125.6 billion revenue. And kung titignan natin dito yung kanila net income over the years, no? From 2015 na meron silang 17.6 billion net income, and in 2019 nakita din natin na meron na lang silang 17.3 billion net income. So nakita natin na bumababa yung kanilang net income. Okay? So mamaya aalamin natin yan kung bakit bumababa. Natatalakayin natin yan. Okay? Okay na nalaman natin yung net income niya nung na bumababa. Ngayon titignan natin sa kanya yung current ratio niya in 2019. No? Kung ano yung position niya in current ratio. Okay? Okay, now ngayon titignan natin dito yung kanyang financial position gamit yung kanyang current ratio. No? So ngayon pumunta tayo sa balance sheet. And titignan natin dito yung kanyang current ratio. So, para makuha yung kanyang current ratio, kailangan natin ng current assets divide sa current liabilities. Nakikita natin dito, no, na yung kanyang total current assets ay merong 76.89 billion pesos, while the current liabilities ay merong 51.39 billion pesos. Okay? So, ngayon, i-input na natin siya sa ating calculator para malaman yung kanyang current ratio. And this is the current assets ni AP, no, ni Aboitiz. And divide natin sa current liabilities. Just ito, no, total current liabilities. Okay? So, meron siyang current ratio na 1.49 or 1.5, no? So, nakikita natin dito na yung kanyang current ratio ay maganda pa rin naman. Pag 1 pataas yung kanyang current ratio, it is considered a good, no? Okay, so, ibig sabihin yun, hindi basta-basta mababankrupt si AP, no? Meaning nito, no, na kayang bayaran ng company yung kanyang current liabilities gamit yung kanyang current assets in 1.5 times na kanyang current assets. Okay, so yun lamang yun, no? Okay, na yung data na to is annually, no? So, gusto natin tignan naman dito ngayon yung 2020, no? Yung kung gaano siya naapektuhan ng COVID. Kasi kung titignan lang natin in 2019, hindi yun sapat. So, ngayon titignan natin in quarterly. Okay, sa income statement tayo muna. And quarterly, para malaman kung ano yung nangyari sa kanyang income, no? In the past quarter. Okay? Okay, kung nakikita natin dito, tapapansin natin, no? In the second quarter of 2020, meron siyang revenue na 25 billion pesos. And comparing to the second quarter of 2019 na mayroong 34 billion pesos, no? So, nakita natin na bumaba siya. Okay? While comparing to the first quarter of 2020 and second quarter of 2020, comparing to that, talaga nakita natin na bumaba din siya, no? And nakikita natin na mayroon siyang 27.87 billion pesos revenue, and now mayroon na lang siyang 25. Okay? And kung titignan natin dito sa kanya net income, okay, comparing to the second quarter of 2020 and second quarter of 2019, no? In 2019, meron siyang 5 billion net income, and now meron na lang siyang 1.6 billion net income. Okay? And comparing to the first quarter of 2020 na merong 2 billion net income, and now meron 1.6 billion net income. So nakita natin na bumaba yung kanyang net income, no? So, ngayon tatalakayin natin to kung bakit bumaba yung kanyang net income, no? So ano yung kadahilanan kung bakit bumaba yung net income ni AP? Wala natin salaksikan kung bakit bumaba, no? Kasi kung ipapakita lang natin tong net income at hindi natin alam kung bakit bumaba tong net income na to, hindi yung sapat. Okay? Okay, so bago tayo magsimula, no, courtesy of this data sa CON. Okay, so sabi dito sa report, no, power demand weakened due to the shift to MACQ. No? AP said that the following the National Capital Region, NCR, shift to GCQ beginning on June 1, the power demand already improved significantly to within a down by 5% to down by 10% of the 2019 level, from a down to 30% during the ECQ in April However, with the surge in COVID-19 cases and the shift back to MECQ during the start of August, power demand once again weakened. As of the second week of August, the power demand was down by 14% lower compared to the same period of last year. There is still no indications as to how much demand recovered as the NCR reverted back to GCQ in the mid-August. Okay, the management believe that the power demand will continue to recover depending on the recovery of the country GDP, and the power demand growth will likely pick up next year or 2022. Okay? Okay, so position to take advantage to recovery in power demand. So AP believe that it remains to be in a good position to take advantage of the country post-COVID-19 recovery. In addition to its current power generation of 3,500 watts, it expects capacity to grow by 27% in 2021, owing the 1,300 megawatts in Dingning Coal Project, a 70% owned by AP. The first unit of the power project is expected to begin commercial operation in January of 2021. Okay? While the second unit will begin operation in June 2021, in the long term, and the company is maintaining the target of having a 9,000 megawatts of capacity by 2029. In addition, in the second half of 2020, performance could improve. Kasi sinasabi dito sa report na in the second half of 2020, the performance could improve. The management believe that while low power demand due to COVID-19 and the community quarantine will continue to impact AP's earnings for the rest of the year. Okay? The second half of 2020 earnings performance could improve due to a fewer instance of unplanned outage. Recall that in first half of 2020 earnings were greatly affected by the forced outage of AP Coal Power Plant. Total foregone revenue of 2 billion pesos. Okay? Okay, and this is also the revenue breakdown of AP, no? Nakikita natin dito na 50% of the revenue ay nanggagaling sa distribution and 40% na kanilang revenue ay nanggagaling sa generation and 10% na kanilang revenue ay nanggagaling sa kanilang kanilang business pa na pinoproduce. Okay? Okay, and also this is the major corporate development in 5 years ni AP, no? Nakita natin dito na AP acquired G-Power assets from Blackstone for $1.2 billion in 2016. Okay? Okay, so alam na natin, no, kung ano yung kadahilan na kung bakit bumaba yung kanilang net income and yung kanilang revenue, no? Okay, so welcome sa market performance ni AP, no? So nakikita natin dito, for the past 7 days, nag-return sa AP ng 2.7%, while the industries na kinabibilangan niya, nag-return siya ng 4.7%, and yung market, nag-return ng 2.5%. Okay, so in respect to 1-year return, no, ni AP, company return versus industries, AP underperformed the industries which returned a 20.9 over the past year. And in respect to AP versus the market, AP underperformed the Philippine market, which returned a negative 25.8 over the past year, no? Okay? Now, nakikita naman natin dito ngayon yung price to earnings ratio ni AP, no? So, meron siyang price to earnings ratio na 15.8, while the industries na kinabibilangan niya merong 7.8, and yung market ay merong 13.1. Okay? So, in respect to AP versus industries PE ratio, AP is a poor value based on its PE ratio compared to the industries na kinabibilangan niya, no? Okay? And also, in respect to company PE ratio versus the market, AP is a poor value based on its PE ratio compared to the Philippine market. Okay? So, nakikita natin dito, no, na sobrang taas ng kanyang price to earnings ratio compared to the industries and sa market. Okay? And in respect to price to earnings growth ratio ni AP, nakikita natin na meron siyang 0.6, no? So, in terms of PEG ratio, AP is a good value based on PEG ratio na merong 0.6. Okay? Okay, so bakit natin nasabi na good value based si AP in terms of price to earnings growth ratio, no? Kasi ang gusto natin makita dito, no, is less than 1 yung kanyang PEG ratio. So, ano ibig sabihin ng less than 1? Kapag mababa sa 1 yung kanyang PEG ratio, it is considered undervalued in terms of or in respect to price to earnings growth ratio alone or in respect to PEG ratio alone. Okay? And in terms of price to book ratio ni AP, nakikita natin dito si AP ay mayroong 1.6 while the industries na kabibilangan niya and the market also mayroong 1. Okay? So, in terms of AP price to book ratio versus the industries, AP is overvalued based on price to book ratio compared to the industries na kinabibilangan niya na mayroong 1. Okay? So, nakita natin na overvalue siya in terms of price to book ratio alone. Okay, so this is the future growth of AP. So, sa nakalap natin na data na based on analyst estimates, no, in the next 1 to 3 years based on estimates of 10 analysts. So, yung kanilang forecasted annual earnings growth ni AP ay mayroong 25.9%, no? So, mataas yung kanyang forecasted growth ni AP. Okay? And kung nakikita natin dito yung kanyang revenue, no, and the end of 2020, yung kanilang forecasted ay aabot ng 113.19 billion pesos. And yung analyst na nakalap natin ay mayroong 9 analysts nag-estimate, no? And sa kanilang earnings in the end of 2020, ay mayroong 7 analyst coverage and aabot ng 11.64 billion pesos yung kanilang earnings, no? Tapos in terms of analyst future growth forecast, ay nakikita natin dito, no? So in terms of earnings versus savings rate ni AP, ay nakikita natin dito, AP forecast earnings growth ay merong 25.9 per year is above in savings rate na merong lang 5.1%. Okay? So, sa mga hindi nakakaalam kung ano yung savings rate, ito yung rate of band natin, no? So, kung mag-invest kasi sa company tapos mababa yung kanya future or forecasted earnings, no? So, mababa pa sa 5.1, edi sa band ka na lang mag-invest, no? Pero, okay, so, ganun lang yung analyzations natin sa kanya. And in respect to earnings versus market, no? AP earnings are forecasted to grow slower than the Philippine market. Okay? Kasi yung market are forecasted to grow 27.5% per year, while the company or the CAP ay meron lang 25.9 per year percent. 25.9% per year. Okay? In respect to high growth earnings, earnings are expected to grow significantly over the next 3 years. So check tayo dyan sa kanya, no? And in terms of revenue versus market, yung forecasted nila, no? AP revenue is 10.5 per year. AP revenue is 10.5% per year, is forecasted to grow slower than the Philippine market na mayroong 11.9% per year. Okay? While the high growth revenue, AP revenue na mayroong 10.5% per year is forecasted to grow slower than 20% per year. Okay? And this is the future return on equity forecasted in 3 years, no? So, nakikita dito, nakita natin yung forecasted ng mga analyst, no? Ay mayroong 13.2%, while the industries na kinabibilangan ni AP na mayroong 12.8%. So, in terms of future ROE, in terms of future ROE ni AP, AP's return on equity is forecasted to be low in 3 years time. Okay? Kasi ito naman yung past performance ni AP, no? How Aboitiz Power performed over the past 5 years. So nakikita dito natin na yung historically annual earnings growth niya ay mayroong down by 0.2%. Okay? Historical annual earnings growth. Okay? And in respect to earnings and revenue history ni AP, nakikita natin dito na meron siyang revenue, no? As of June 30, 2020, meron siyang revenue per year na 114.7 billion and earnings na 12.4 billion per year, and meron siyang profit margin na 10.8% and meron siyang free cash flow na 29.46 billion pesos per year. Okay? So in respect to high quality earnings, no, AP has a high quality of earnings. And also in respect to growing profit margin, no, nakikita natin dito, napansin natin na AP current net profit margin ay mayroong 10.8 are lower than last year na mayroong 16.3%. Okay? So bumababa yung kanyang net profit margin. And now this is the return on equity ni AP ngayon, no. Nakikita natin dito na meron siyang return on equity na 11.5%, while the industries na kinabibilangan niya ay merong 12.8% average, no. So nakikita natin dito na mas mababa yung kanyang return on equity sa kanyang industries, and in terms of high ROE, AP return on equity is considered low. Okay? At still, it is a good kasi 10% pataas na yung kanyang return on equity, which is meaning nito, no, ng return on equity, gaano kagaling yung management humawak ng others people's money, no, to produce a profit from their businesses. Okay? And sa kanyang return on assets, no, nakikita natin dito na yung kanyang return on assets ni AP ay merong 6.3, same lang siya na kanyang industries na meron ding 6.3, no. So, anong ibig sabihin nitong return on assets, no? So, ang ibig sabihin lang nito, ito yung kita compared sa kanyang ari-arian. Okay? While the return on capital employed, no, nakita natin dito na in the past 3 years, meron siyang return on capital employed na 9%, and last year, meron na lang siyang 7.4%. So, bumababa yung kanyang return on capital employed. Okay? Okay, in terms of financial health ni AP, nakikita natin dito, no, na yung kanyang short-term assets ay merong 84.5 billion pesos, while the short-term liabilities na merong 67.77 billion pesos, no? Okay? So, yung meaning na short-term assets, ito yung ari-arian niya na kaya niyang i-convert within a year into cash. Okay? And yung short-term liabilities, ito naman yung obligations ng company na binabayaran within a year. Okay? And yung kanyang long-term assets ay meron siyang 331.06 billion pesos, while yung kanyang long-term liabilities ay merong 219.36 billion pesos. No? So, yung meaning naman ng yung meaning lang nitong long-term assets, ito yung ari-arian niya o yung assets niya na kaya niya i-convert into more than a year. Okay? And yung kanyang long-term liabilities, ito naman yung obligations na company na binabayaran with more than a year naman. Okay? Kasi in respect to short-term liabilities, check tayo dyan. Kasi AP short-term assets exceeds its short-term liabilities. So nakita naman natin, no? While comparing to long-term liabilities naman, AP short-term assets do not cover its long-term liabilities, no? Okay? Okay, in terms of debt to equity history and analysis ni AP, nakikita natin dito from 2013 na meron siyang debt to equity ratio na 4.2% and now meron siyang 153.3% debt to equity ratio, no? So, sobrang laki na kanyang debt to equity ratio. Okay? Over the years, so talagang yung kanyang debt to equity ratio lumalaki, no? So, ang ibig sabihin nitong debt to equity ratio, no? So, ang meaning lang nito, no? In every 1 peso na ginagamit ni AP sa kanyang operation, 153.3% nun ay finance by utang or finance sa utang. Okay? So, in terms of debt level ni AP, nakikita natin, AP's debt to equity ratio is considered high. Kasi gusto lang natin makita sa company na ina-analyze natin na 40% pababa lang yung kanyang debt to equity ratio, which is considered a low debt to equity ratio. So, nakikita natin dito na sobrang taas, umaabot ng 153.3% yung kanyang debt to equity ratio, no? Okay? And in terms of reducing of debt, negative tayo sa kanya kasi yung AP debt to equity ratio has increased from 54.6% to 153.3% over the past 5 years. So, increasing yung kanyang debt to equity ratio, no? And in terms of debt coverage, no? AP debt is not well covered by operating cash flow, no? And in terms of interest coverage ni AP interest payment on its debt are not well covered by EBIT, no? Nakikita natin, no? So, ito yung natin nakitang red zone sa kanya, okay? Okay, this is the balance sheet snapshot of AP, no? Okay? Okay, this is the current dividend of AP, no? Nakita natin na meron siyang current dividend na 4.42% current dividend yield. Okay? Okay, so comparing to notable dividend, check tayo sa kanya kasi AP dividend is higher than the bottom 25% of dividend payers in the Philippine market. So, yung bottom dividend payers ay umaabot lang ng 1.7, while si AP ay merong dividend na 4.4% dividend yield, no? While the high dividend, tayo sa kanya, red flag tayo sa kanya because AP dividend is lower compared to the top 25 dividend payers in the Philippine market, no? So nakikita natin dito na yung top 20% of dividend payers in the Philippine market ay merong 4.70%, while the si AP ay meron lang 4.4, no? In respect to industry's average ay meron lang din 3.5%, and forecasted dividend yield ni AP, no, in the next 3 years ay meron 3.9. Okay? And okay, this is the stability growth payments of AP's dividend, no? Nakikita natin dito. Okay? So nakikita natin dito ngayon na meron siyang 4.4% and meron siyang dividend per share na binibigay na 1.18 pesos per share, no? Okay? So comparing to April 30, 2010, okay? Comparing to April 30, 2010, na meron lang siyang dividend yield na 1.9 and meron siyang binibigay na dividend per share na 0.3 per share, no? And now, meron na siyang 4.4% dividend yield and meron siyang 1.18 dividend per share na. Okay? Also, in terms of stable dividend, no, check tayo sa kanya sa stable dividend because AP dividend per share have been stable in the past 10 years, which is good, no? And in terms of growing dividend, no, check din tayo sa kanya because AP dividend payment have increased over the past 10 years. So, maganda, no? In terms of dividend payments, so maganda yung kinikater niya in terms of dividend, no? And this is the current payout to shareholders, no? Ito yung kanyang payout ratio, no? Nakikita natin dito na meron siyang 70% current payout ratio, no? So, in terms of dividend coverage, with its reasonable payout ratio na mayroong 70%, AP dividend payout payments are covered by earnings. Okay? So nakikita natin dito, no, na 70% na kanyang earnings ay binibigay niya sa dividendo. Okay? And this is the future payout to shareholders na nakuha natin, no? So nakikita natin dito na meron siyang 39% in 2023, no? So, in terms of future dividend coverage, AP dividend in 3 years are forecasted to be well covered by earnings na merong 39.2% payout ratio. Okay? And this is the leadership team of AP, no? Nakikita natin dito, yung kanilang president ngayon ay si Emmanuel Rubio. And nakikita natin dito yung kanyang tenure na merong 0.67 years and ownership na 0.0012% or nagkakahalaga ng 2.4 million pesos. Okay? And this is the rest of leadership team ni AP, no? Okay, so nakita natin dito si Jaime Jose Aboitiz, and yung kanyang position ngayon ay Executive Vice President, and yung kanyang tenure sa business ay meron ng 11.33 years, no? And meron siyang ownership na 0.14% and nagkakahalaga ng 269.3 million pesos. Okay? And this is the rest of a leadership team ni Aboitiz, no? Also, in terms of experience management, no? AP management team is seasoned and experienced. Kasi meron siyang average tenure na 5.5 years and meron siyang average age na 56 years old. So, ngayon kasi natin makita, no, sa company na ina-analyze natin na every year nagpapalit sila ng CEO, Vice President, or sino man, no, or sa kanyang top executive, no? So, yun yung ayaw natin makita na sa company na ina-analyze natin. So, which is good kay AP, no, nakikita natin na pasado sila sa experience management. This is the board member of AP. Okay, nakikita natin dito yung position nila and yung tenure and yung kanyang ownership, no? Okay? Okay, guys? So, also in respect to experienced board member, AP Board of Directors are not considered experienced kasi yung average nila, no, ay meron lang 2.3 years average tenure, which suggests a new board, no? Okay, kasi gusto natin makita dito sa kanyang board member, no, na yung kanyang average tenure ay umabot ng 3 years pataas, no? So nakikita natin na 2.3 lang. So medyo bago pa yung kanilang board of director. Okay? Okay, this is the ownership breakdown ni AP, no? Nakikita natin dito, 77% owned by public companies and general public, and 15% owned by general public, and 3.2% owned by private companies, 2.6% owned by institution, and 2.2% owned by individual insiders. Okay? In terms of dilution of shares, check tayo dyan because shareholders have not been meaningfully diluted in the past year, no? So, meaning ng diluted sa mga hindi pa nakakalam, no? Diluted to shareholders, of shareholders. So, ang meaning nun, no? Kapag nag-i-issue ng new share o nag-raise ng new shares yung company, bumababa yung percentage of ownership ng mga shareholders. Okay? Okay, also, this is the top shareholders of AP, no? So, nakikita natin dito, 77% owned by Aboitiz Equity Venture na mayroong current value na 151.3 billion pesos. And susunod sa kanya si Aboitiz and Companies Incorporated na mayroong halos 2% ownership sa kanya and nagkakalaga ng 3.9 billion pesos. And this is the rest of top shareholders ni AP. Okay? Okay, guys? And this is the number of employees ni AP, no, in 2019 na meron siyang 4,300 employees. So, madami-dami din yung kanyang empleyado. Okay? So, para makuha natin yung intrinsic value ni AP ngayon, no, kailangan natin ng future net income or estimate ng mga analyst, no? And yung average PE ratio, average PE ratio ni AP for the past 5 years. Okay? So, first, kailangan muna natin ng estimate net income ng mga analyst. Okay? Kasi yung una nating nahanap na estimate ng mga analyst in 2020 ay merong forecasted net income na 12.49 billion net income in 2020, no? And Yung susunod nating nahanap yung sa COL forecast nila in 2020. Yung kanilang net profit forecast in 2020 ay 10.5 or 10.6, no? 10.6 billion. Okay? And lastly, yung ating nahanap dito, no, meron forecasted in 2020 na 11.64 billion, no? Okay, so based sa tatlo, yung pinaka-conservative na net income estimate, itong COL na mayroong 10.6 billion net income forecasted, no? So ito yung ating kukunin na net income forecasted kasi ito yung pinaka-conservative, no? Kasi gusto natin maging conservative tayo sa kukuning intrinsic value ng company, okay? So, ito tatandaan natin to, no? Itong natin kukunin is yung average PE ratio for the past 5 years ni AP, okay? So nandito tayo sa BPI trade para makuha yung kanilang average PE ratio, no? Okay? So, ito siya. Kukunin natin tong 5 years PE ratio niya. Okay? And i-average natin siya. So, input lang muna natin siya. Okay, guys. Yung average PE ratio ni AP for the past 5 years ay umaabot ng 14.83 or 14.84 average PE ratio. Okay? So, nakuha na natin yung average PE ratio and yung net income forecasted in the 2020, no? Okay, so ngayon, magagamit na natin to para makuha yung future market capitalization ni AP. Okay? So, ang gagawin lang natin para makuha yung future market cap, ita-times lang natin yung average PE ratio sa ating nakuhang future net income. Okay? Okay, so times. Okay guys, so yung market capitalization na nakuha natin sa kanya, yung future market cap, ay umaabot ng 157 billion pesos future market cap, no? So, ngayon, ang gagawin natin, nakuha na natin yung future market cap. So, i-divide na natin yung kaniyang current market capitalization, i-divide natin siya dito sa ating future cap para makuha yung ating intrinsic value. Okay? Okay, so para makuha natin yung current market capitalization ni AP, pupunta tayo sa Reuters.com. So, nandito tayo ngayon sa Reuters.com. So, kung i-scroll down natin siya, nakikita natin dito yung kanyang market capitalization, no, ay nasa 196.47 billion pesos. So, kukunin natin itong current market capitalization and divide sa ating future market cap. Okay? Okay? So, nakita natin, no? Okay, so ito yung nakuha nating sagot, no? Mayroon siyang 1.25 na. Okay, kung na-run out natin siya, 1.25. So, ang gagawin natin, i-times natin itong ating current value na 27.05 times dito sa ating nakuhang sagot para makuha yung kanyang intrinsic value. Okay? Okay, and times sa 1. Okay, so nakuha natin yung kanyang current value and then times natin siya doon sa ating 1.25 na nakuha. So, ito yung kanyang current price ngayon, no? Yung kanyang intrinsic value. So, this is the intrinsic value ni AP ngayon. Nasa 33.81. Okay? So, kung titignan natin dito, no? Kung 33.81 siya, so, dito yung ating intrinsic value sa kanya. Okay? 33.81. So, there's something dito, no? So, ito yung kanyang intrinsic value, no? So, para, titignan natin dito kung bibili ba tayo sa kanya. So, magma-margin of safety tayo sa kanya. Kung magkakaroon tayo ng buffer sa intrinsic value para magkaroon tayo syempre ng discounted price sa kanya. Kasi kung bibili tayo sa kanya in intrinsic value, no, malapit na sa intrinsic value at lampas sa intrinsic value, hindi yan yung ano natin, no, value investing. Okay? Hindi yan yung principle ng value investing. Value investing, ang principle niyan ay bibili tayo sa discounted price. Alam natin yung kanyang intrinsic value and bibili tayo sa discounted price niya. So, para magkaroon tayo ng discounted price, magkakaroon tayo syempre ng margin of safety. So, para magkaroon tayo ng margin of safety, kailangan lang natin ng so, it's up to you, no, kung ano yung gusto nyo margin of safety. Pwedeng 50, pwedeng 20, pwedeng 30, no, it's up to you. Okay? So now, gagamitin natin is 20% margin of safety. Ang gagawin natin, itong nakuha natin intrinsic value, ita-times natin siya sa ating 0.80 para makuha yung 20% margin of safety. So, ibig sabihin ito, in 27.05, Kasi in summary na intrinsic value ni AP or Aboitiz Power, no? So, yung ating intrinsic value sa kanya ay nasa 33.81, while yung ating margin of safety sa kanya is nasa, and now yung current price ni AP ay nasa 27.05 ng time na ina-analyze natin to, no? So, meron tayong upside potential sa kanya 19.99, and meron tayong ratings sa kanya na buy ratings. Kasi so bakit buy ratings sa kanya? Kasi yung ating potential upside sa kanya is nasa 20 na, no? So, ang kuha natin dito sa kanya is 20. Okay? So, kaya meron tayong buy ratings sa kanya in terms of intrinsic value allowed, no? Okay? Kasi in summary ng ating pag-analyze kay EP, no? So, yung mga napansin natin sa kanya, yung red zone na napansin natin sa kanya, first is interest payment are not well covered by earnings. Okay? And yung napansin pa natin sa kanya is, no, yung profit margin ay mayroong 10.8 are lower than last year na mayroong 16.3%. Okay? So, bumababa yung kanyang net profit margin. And yung napansin naman natin sa kanyang green zone, no, the company is currently profitable and earnings are forecasted to grow by an average of 25.9% per year for the next 3 years. Okay? And in terms of dividend of AP, na meron siyang 4.37%, it is a sustainable dividend. Okay? And in terms of share price has been stable over the past 3 months, and the company earnings are high quality, no? And they have sufficient analyst coverage and no concerning event detected ang natin sa kanya, no? So, shareholders have not been meaningfully diluted in the past year or recently, no? And yung kanyang revenue is meaningful, and yung kanyang market cap is meaningful also, no? So, sa pag-analyze at pag-review ng stocks, no, malalaman natin dito yung strength and weaknesses ng company, and malalaman natin kung matibay ba yung kanyang management, malaki ba yung kanyang utang, no? Kasi napaka-importante na alam natin yung alam natin kung ano yung kanyang strength and weaknesses bago tayo pumasok sa bago tayo mag-invest sa company, no? And siyempre, napaka-importante na alam natin at naiintindihan natin kung ano yung business model ng company. Kasi kung hindi mo naiintindihan yung company, huwag ka na mag-invest. Huwag ka nang mag-invest, no? Sabi nga ni Warren Buffett, no, stay to your circle of competence. Okay? And syempre, dapat alam mo rin kung ano yung intrinsic value or fair value ng company. So, ito lang muna guys yung ating review and analysis sa company na to, no? So, maraming salamat sa inyo. And as always, guys, invest wisely and see you on the other side.
Hello guys, maraming salamat sa panonood. Sana marami kayo natutunan sa video na to. So kung hindi pa kayo nakaka-subscribe, so please subscribe and hit the notification bell para updated kayo sa mga videos na parating at marami pa kayo matutunan sa channel na ito. So maraming salamat. This is PSE Warrior saying, trade well, trade strong, and trade smart.